World War II was not only about battles, tanks, and strategies. It's also the stories of people who, in the darkest times, showed incredible courage, self-sacrifice, and humanity. Today, we'll tell you about 7 remarkable heroes from different countries and professions, whose actions changed the course of history. From soldiers to diplomats, from spies to rescuers, their names are etched into world history. So get comfortable and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories about heroes. Audie Murphy was born in 1925 in Texas, USA, to a poor farming family. At the age of 17, after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, he forged documents to enlist in the war. Murphy was an infantryman and took part in battles in Italy, France, and Germany. For his service, he received 33 awards, becoming one of the most decorated soldiers in U.S. history. His most famous act of valor occurred on January 26, 1945, near the town of Holtzwihr, France. That day, Lieutenant Murphy's company suffered heavy casualties. Audie ordered the survivors to retreat to a nearby forest, while he remained at the command post, firing his M1 carbine and directing artillery fire by phone. Later, he climbed onto a burning, disabled M10 tank destroyer and kept shooting from its mounted M2 machine gun. He was lightly wounded in the leg, but only left his position once he ran out of ammunition. Afterward, he regrouped the remnants of his company and, ignoring his own injuries, led a counterattack that pushed the Germans back. During the battle, Murphy personally killed or wounded about 50 enemy soldiers. For his heroism, he was awarded the highest U.S. military honor, the Medal of Honor. After the war, he began a film career, appeared in over 40 movies, and played himself in To Hell and Back, 1955, scenes from which you now see on the screen. Audie Murphy died in a plane crash in 1971 at the age of 45. Schools and memorials in the U.S. bear his name. Witold Pilecki, a Polish officer, was born in 1901. He was a cavalryman, poet, painter, and patriot. He fought in the Polish-Soviet War and was twice awarded the Cross of Valor. In the autumn of 1940, during a street roundup, he voluntarily surrendered to the Germans in order to infiltrate the Auschwitz concentration camp and gather intelligence while organizing underground resistance. Under the alias Tomasz Serafiński, Prisoner No. 4859, he became the main organizer of the Polish underground within the camp. His reports were sent to the Union for Armed Struggle in Warsaw and then forwarded to the West. He even planned a military operation to liberate the camp. In April 1943, Pilecki managed to escape. He contacted the Home Army and proposed a plan to assault Auschwitz. But the High Command did not approve it. In 1945, Pilecki organized an intelligence network and began collecting information on conditions in Poland, including the fate of Home Army soldiers imprisoned by the NKVD and deported to the Soviet Union. On May 8, 1947, he was arrested by the Ministry of Public Security. Before trial, he was tortured several times, but did not reveal any secret information. At his final meeting with his wife, Pilecki said that compared to Makoto prison, Auschwitz was child's play. On May 15, 1948, he was sentenced to death and soon executed. The sentence was carried out in Makoto prison. and his burial site remains unknown. Many books and documentaries have been made in Poland about his heroism, and several cities have erected monuments and plaques in his honor. Want to see a detailed story about Witold Pilecki? Write in the comments and we'll definitely make a video. Simo Häyhä, known as the White Death, was born in 1905 in Finland. A humble farmer and hunter, he had extraordinary shooting skills. During the Winter War of 1939-1940, when the USSR invaded Finland, Simo served as a sniper. In unbelievably harsh conditions, at temperatures as low as -40 degrees C, he killed over 500 enemy soldiers. Häyhä preferred using iron sights. They allowed him to acquire targets faster, and optical sights would often fog up in the cold. He reached his carefully prepared firing positions before dawn and left only after sunset, surviving on sugar and bread to sustain himself while lying motionless for hours. He would freeze the snow in front of his rifle with water so it wouldn't scatter when firing, and kept snow in his mouth to prevent his breath from revealing his position. After the war, Simo returned to civilian life as a farmer. He is honored as a national hero in Finland, with a museum in his hometown of Rautjärvi. He died in 2002 at the age of 96. Want to learn more about this unique sniper? Watch our full video on Simo Häyhä here on the channel. Hiroo Onoda was a junior lieutenant in the Imperial Japanese Army from 1942 to 1945, specializing in intelligence and guerrilla warfare. In December 1944, he was sent to Lubang Island in the Philippines with orders to conduct guerrilla activities until reinforcements arrived and never to surrender under any circumstances. After Japan's surrender in 1945, Onoda didn't believe the war was over. He and other soldiers ignored leaflets and family appeals, thinking it was U.S. propaganda. They continued fighting local police, raiding food supplies, and stealing livestock. About 30 islanders were killed during this time. Initially, he had 3 comrades. One surrendered in 1950, and the other 2 were killed. In 1974, he was found by a Japanese student named Norio Suzuki. But Onoda agreed to surrender only under direct orders from his commanding officer. In March 1974, his commander flew to Lubang and officially relieved him of duty. Back in Japan, Hiroo received a hero's welcome. Some officials called him the embodiment of the samurai spirit. Later, he founded the Onoda Nature School for Children, based on jungle survival, to teach endurance and discipline. He also maintained ties with the Philippines, donating $10,000 to a local school in 1996. Onoda wrote several books and memoirs about his 30 years on the island and about World War II. He died on January 16, 2014, at a Tokyo hospital at the age of 91. Oskar Schindler was born on April 28, 1908, in the town of Świętow. He worked at his father's company and later served in the Czechoslovak army before joining the Third Reich's intelligence services in 1936. During World War II, Schindler became the owner and manager of an enamelware factory in Krakow, which officially produced goods for the German army. Gradually, he turned his factory into a center of rescue. He registered around 1,200 Polish Jews as essential workers, protecting them from deportation to concentration camps, including Auschwitz. Schindler didn't just save jobs. He bribed guards, created safe working conditions in factory barracks, and even intercepted group deportations, especially as the Red Army approached. He spent his entire fortune on bribes to protect his workers. His list became a symbol of salvation. After the war, Oskar lived most of his life in poverty, relying on donations from the Jews he had saved. In 1963, Israel honored him with the title Righteous Among the Nations. Schindler's story was immortalized in Steven Spielberg's film Schindler's List. He died on October 9, 1974, at the age of 66, and was buried on Mount Zion in Jerusalem, a gesture of gratitude and recognition for his heroism. Raoul Wallenberg, a Swedish diplomat, was born in 1912. He came from a wealthy family, but chose a path of humanitarianism. In July 1944, he arrived in Budapest as a secretary of the Swedish legation, aiming to rescue Jews under threat of deportation. Within just a few months, Wallenberg saved around 100,000 Hungarian Jews, issuing protective passports that identified them as Swedish citizens, and organizing Swedish houses, buildings with elevated legal status. He personally intercepted trains carrying Jews, confronted Nazi authorities, and risked his life to help people escape or remain safe. After the Red Army entered Budapest on January 17, 1945, he went to negotiate with Soviet commanders, but was arrested by the Soviets on suspicion of espionage. The Soviet authorities later declared that Wallenberg died of a heart attack in Lubyanka prison in July 1947. Though the truth remains unknown, there are suggestions of execution or violent death. In 1952, Sweden officially declared him dead in absentia. In 1957, the Soviet Union confirmed his death date as 1947. In 1981, the U.S. Congress granted him honorary citizenship, only the second time in history after Churchill. He was also granted honorary citizenship in Canada, Hungary, Israel, and Australia. In 1963, Yad Vashem recognized him as righteous among the nations. Wallenberg left a powerful legacy. The Raoul Wallenberg Institute, awards in his name, monuments in Stockholm, Budapest, London, Tel Aviv, New York, and countless streets and schools around the world. His courage and humanity became a symbol of how one person can stand against evil and save hundreds of thousands. Irena Sendler, born on February 15, 1910, near Warsaw, was a Polish social worker. She worked at the Warsaw Social Welfare Department, gaining access to the Warsaw Ghetto under the guise of a health inspector. From December 1942, she became the head of the children's division of the Polish underground organization Zagoda, Council to Aid Jews. Between 1942 to 1943, she and her team managed to save about 2,500 Jewish children, hiding them in families, orphanages, and monasteries, after giving them new names and documents. She wrote down both their real and new names on slips of paper, which she buried in jars in a garden, hoping to recover them after the war. On October 20, 1943, Sendler was arrested by the Gestapo, brutally tortured, and sentenced to death, but Zagoda rescued her by bribing officials. After Warsaw was liberated, she dug up the jars and helped restore the identities of hundreds of rescued children, although most of their families had perished in the camps. In 1965, Yad Vashem recognized her as righteous among the nations, and in 1983, planted a tree in her honor in the Avenue of the Righteous. Her heroism remained largely unknown until 1999, when schoolgirls in Kansas created a play based on her life, drawing attention to her bravery. In 2003, she received Poland's highest honor, the Order of the White Eagle, along with the Commander's Cross with Star of the Order of Polonia Restituta, the Order of the Smile, and many other distinctions. Irena Sendler died on May 12, 2008, in Warsaw at the age of 98. In April 2009, the TV movie The Courageous Heart of Irena Sendler premiered in the US. Her dedication, bravery, and compassion became a symbol of moral strength. She saved those who had no chance and taught the world about limitless humanity, even in its darkest hours. These people are just a few of those who fought for freedom, justice, and human dignity during World War II. Their stories remind us to cherish peace and never forget the heroes. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe. More incredible stories are coming soon. Let us know in the comments whose story you'd like to hear next. See you in the next video.